Hey, what's up? John Sonmez from SimpleProgrammer.com. I'm going to cold read an email here and then give an answer because I've had this sitting on my board and I've titled this How to Express Emotions, Social Skill Atrophy, which is interesting to me right now. So I'm just going to, I haven't pre-read this. We're just going to see what this is about here, and maybe it'll be inappropriate, but maybe it won't. So anyway, this email is from Andrew. And he says, "Hey John, I've been watching your videos lately. They're excellent and helpful. Keep it up. So I'm 21 years old. Oh, that golden age. Watch the video on I'm 21 and haven't had a girlfriend. You can imagine that this is that golden age where you realize it's like the midlife crisis. 21 and I don't have a girlfriend yet. But okay, let's move on. So I'm 21 years old and I feel like I've done a good job with my programming skill for now. Although I feel my social skills are bad and have always been bad. I've had a girlfriend before and very few encounters with women, nothing crazy. I feel I've become a very logical thinker and always in my head, okay? Women are social beings while men are analytical." Or are we gonna be misogynist here? I guess we will. No, I agree with you. So some people are just shaking their head and going to call the social justice police on us. But hey, let's just move on. Women like when you bring their emotions out. Okay, he is correct so far. But I always end up talking about things very analytically. Oh. Yeah, I can feel that pain, man. I've been told I have good looks before, but I can't talk to girls attractively to save my life. Okay, I think I get what you're saying here. So how do I flip the switch? I read this article about how programming really wrecks the emotional side and social skills from this article. He links to this article. Oh, it's interesting. I have to look at this article. MaverickTraveler.com, Why Computer Programmers Can't Pick Up Women. Okay, I'm going to take a look at this article while you're here waiting for me. This is just going to scan it here. Loosening up, keeping it light. Okay, it's fairly short here. Let me see how much hate he got. Oh, he didn't get much hate. He must be he's from Brazil, so. Sometimes in America we're just a little too uptight. Okay, so he says, how do I express my emotions more when all I've been doing is being logical and analytical for so many years? Hopefully you can include this in the How to Get Girls Programmer series. Oh, buddy, you want that? All right, here is the series and you are now part of it, bro. Bro fist. All right, so anyway, I'm just joking around. But seriously, how do we address this question here? And, Andrew, you're on the right track. Obviously, you know the problem. So women like when you bring their emotions out and you're always just talking in your head and being analytical because you're a programmer. I don't know if it's because you're a programmer. It might be because you're a dude, right? And that's more of how dudes think. There's not too many. It's a little bit more difficult to get in touch with that emotional side. So, for example, here's what you could kind of do: is you could practice some of this, and I'm gonna gear it towards what you're trying to accomplish here, because I can read between the lines. You're trying to pick up girls. I get it. So what can you say? How can you change this so that when you go up to you're talking to a girl, you don't start talking about algorithms and shit, and she's just like, what? Thinks you're boring, thinks you're dumb. You got to elicit those emotions. So how do you get that emotion? So it's about being a good storyteller. And one of the things that you'll notice that I do with this YouTube channel, or when I'm in front of a video camera, and it's changed as I've developed this skill, is that I vary the tonality of my voice. So I'm low, I'm high, there's different pitch to it, right? I'm moving around, I'm bringing energy, and I'm going from a high energy state to a low energy state, right? That keeps it interesting. So maybe you'll watch my video for 5 minutes as I ramble on about some shit. Okay, so you got to have more, if your presentation, so it's more, and the reason why I'm starting there is because it's more about how you say a thing than what you say, right? You can watch an interesting person. Someone can say the same exact words, and if they can vocalize interestingly, right? And if they can express things with emotion and interestingly, then they're going to be interesting. It's going to have a totally different meaning. And so how do you do that? That just comes from practice, right? Just try to be a little bit more over the top, right? And slow down a little bit, right? Slow down, right? When we're in the analytical side of our brain and we're talking to someone, we're very much, thoughts are coming, right? We're going. Make sure my battery's still good. And you see how that worked, right? I just went, make sure my battery is still good, and I went to the analytical mode, and I want to quickly say that out. But if we go back and we go to the emotional side, right? We slow down a little bit, right? We're talking a little bit slower. We're a little more, we could be excited, right? But we're not just trying to communicate the point as fast as possible. It's more about the ride. So slow down and exaggerate everything. Exaggerate your expressions, right? Use your hands. Use big voice. Use little voice, right? Just try to practice doing that. You're to the point where it seems ridiculous to you, okay? And it's not going to be ridiculous to other people. You're just going to be animated and expressive, especially if you have a problem being expressive, right? I'm not going to say emotional. So emotional and expressive are totally different things. But if you have a problem being expressive, then what you perceive is outlandish, over the top, is actually going to be quite normal and going to make you animated and more interesting. And that in itself is going to elicit emotion. Now comes what you say, now the content, right? If you tell a story or something that happened to you, there's multiple ways to tell it. You can tell it from the factual perspective, and this, again, this is not necessarily a computer programmer thing. This is more of a masculine, like a guy thing, is to say, look, all right, so I went fishing, and we went for 4 hours. We went 8 miles out into the ocean, and for the first 2 hours didn't catch anything, and then I had a bite, and then I got a fish, and I brought it home, and it was big. It was like 12 pounds, and it was a good trip. Right, that's one way. I'm being a little bit, what you call dramatic here, or extreme. But so that's one way to tell a story. But there's another way to tell a story. It's like, oh man, I hadn't been on like a boat like this before. I was a little bit scared that I was going to get seasick, right, on this boat, and it was going to be embarrassing. So I got on the boat. I got up real early in the morning. My heart's pounding, right, and we get on this boat and we go out, and it's like you're looking, and you can't see the land. Like, you're like, what the heck? I didn't know we were going out this far, so I was getting a little bit nervous. I'll be honest with you. I was getting a little bit nervous. I was trying to keep my brave face on, but I could, my heart was beating. I was sweating a little bit. And so we're out there, and we're sitting there for 2 hours. Nothing happens. And then all of a sudden, right, I'm holding the pole, and bam, I get this bite. And it's like, whoa, like it shook me for a second. I thought, oh man, this is crazy, because I'm holding this big ass fishing reel, and I got like you go fishing on a pier or something, you get a little tug. I got this horrendous tug, and I'm like, oh crap, am I actually going to be able to handle this? Nothing ended up happening. But then later on, holy crap, it was amazing. I got this huge fish, right? You see what I'm saying? Right? You're talking about same story, right? I mean, maybe I added a little bit more details there, but it's not the details, it's the kind of details, right? It's like, I'm telling you how I felt, right? And maybe I'm exaggerating a little bit, but I'm giving you feelings so you can feel it. As a listener to the story, when I tell a story that way, you feel the emotion, right? I'm telling you, I felt scared. I felt whatever. I felt excited, right? My heart was beating. I was sweating. These are the details that elicit emotion from people. And so if you want to do that, and that's what's going to get people hooked, and not just girls, but is going to go what you're trying to do. You've got to do that. You got to find the emotional element. You got to tell the story by telling how you feel. Now, don't be wear your heart on your sleeve and be like, oh, I was so sad when my girlfriend left me. It just and just no one likes that, right? But go ahead, like, it's okay to say, I was a little bit afraid, right? And to go there, right? To have a little bit of vulnerability, not like I'm a wide open, I've got my heart on my sleeve, I'm just going to share every feeling I ever had in life with you, but to say, hey, look, I'm telling you, this is how this is part of the story. And if you can weave it that way, that's gonna help you, right? So it's not, again, it's not about expressing emotions. It's about, one, speaking, talking, communicating in an animated way, over the top. Use your voice. It's a tool. Use your hands. Use your motion, right? Move around, right? What you think might be spasmodic and what you think might be extreme, if you are, I guarantee you, if you're a low energy state, low energy person who's in your head, analytical all the time, you bring the passion to it, you bring the movement to it, people are not going to think it's weird. They're going to appreciate that. It's going to be, you know, it's going to seem weird to you because you're not used to this, but it's not that strange. It's going to bring you up to more of a normal level. You want to be above normal, right? So you just don't want to be too far out there. And if you go too far out there, then reel it back. Then be like, if people are like, every time you talk to them, they're like, holy crap, dude, you're spasmodic. then reel it back. But go there first, right? I did this video on going to extremes. Always go to extremes to test, to find where you need to be. Sometimes it is the extreme. But if you don't test extremes, you're not going to figure that shit out. Okay, so that's number one. And then number two is the storytelling. When you tell a story, don't report the facts. Don't just the facts, man. Report how it made you feel, how it made the other person feel. Those type of things. Right? I'm not saying be a girl, but I'm saying like you can tell a story and bring the emotion. That's what makes the story interesting. You think I want to convey these facts. That's not about it. It's not about that at all, right? I mean, imagine watching a movie, a drama on television, and it's just like the facts, right? They're just like, oh, and what happened to this guy? Blah, blah, blah. Right? It wouldn't be very interesting or fun. So you gotta, in order to evoke emotion, you gotta do those things. So anyway, great question. I think this is a good one. You've made it to the guy list of videos. And if you have a question for me, if I can help you with your social life, email me at john@simpleprogrammer.com. If you'd like to join the Simple Programmer community, check out the Patreon campaign here. And if you just want to get free videos, just want to be a freeloader, no, I'm just kidding. Anyway, subscribe to the channel. I'll talk to you next time. Take care.